Hi everybody. In the second video, I just wanted to shout out some exceptional student writing again. The first piece is by Amber Fortune, and it is a paragraph about her name that I just think is amazing, amazing writing. And what I really like here is that Amber slows down and really takes the time to think about all these associations that she has with her name. So I'm going to read it to you, and I'm sure you'll see why it's really beautiful. My name is Amber, like the gemstone that preserves the fossil. My superpower is the ability to retain life in the state that it took its last breath. As Amber utilizes her ability to exude beauty by forming the process of fossilization upon a tree leaves, that beauty can be shared with the world. She can use her sweetness to collect pieces of the earth as she goes, to then which becomes perfectly preserved within her fossil. Fall, the season to which is dear to me, the reason why autumn is my favorite season, is that I enjoy sightseeing of trees and amber leaves fall before my presence. So Amber has these two really beautiful images, one having to do with an amber stone that preserves things for us to see, but also amber as a color, which is a kind of orangish color, which she associates with the fall. And I just think that this is really beautiful writing and shows what you can do when you just really slow down and like treat yourself to the opportunity to really think about something. So really, really good job, Amber. The second really strong piece of writing is by Carl Williams. And Carl wrote a really excellent revision of his name essay. Sorry. Carl's original draft was a lot like everyone else's original draft. You know, kind of working out some thoughts about his name, this thought, that thought. But in the revision, he did something really great, which is he kind of used the conversation about his name to tell a story about his relationship with his dad. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of this because it's long, but I did highlight some sections that I wanted to share with you. I was named after my father, but my mother wanted to name me Denzel because her favorite actor was Denzel Washington. I was my father's first son, so he insisted I be named after him. My father is a veteran, so he is very humble, caring, and very stern in his word. He had no tolerance for excuses. His favorite saying was, "The only person who can say I can't is someone dead, and even they can try in the afterlife." He instilled in me at a young age that everything I do is a representation of him and his parenting skills. And then Carl talked about how hard it was to have his father's name and be his father's son because his father was very well known, very respected, very strict. And so Carl felt like, how am I going to figure out who I am when I have the same name as my dad? And he even went so far as to try to get people to call him something different, but it just didn't work. People just kept calling him Carl Jr. So here's where he talks a little bit about his struggle. Growing up, I felt like I was under constant surveillance. Everyone knew my father in the neighborhood from the school to the local corner store. It was like I didn't have my own identity. I was known as Lil Carl or CJ, Carl Jr. So after a while, I started to build up resentment toward my name. I wanted to do everything I could to distance myself from my father. We were very similar in a lot of ways, from facial features to personality, so distinguishing myself was no easy task. Then he talks about wanting to change his name, and then this final paragraph, which I think just does a really nice job of wrapping up this situation. One day, sitting on the porch upset, my uncle came and asked me, "Why do you look so sad, Junior?" "No one cares about me. They only care about my dad," I yelled. My uncle sat next to me. "Let me tell you a story," he said. He goes on to tell me about a time when my dad found an old lady whose electric had been shut off and lost all her food. My father made it his mission to raise enough to get her electric turned back on and to buy more food. So all week he mowed lawns, washed cars, and did whatever he could to raise the money he needed. So finally he was able to get enough money to help the woman out. My uncle explained to me that there are many more stories of my dad helping people. It's not all about all the things your dad is good at. It's the good things he did for his community. Just be a good person and everything else will come together. A weight lifted off my shoulders that made me feel that I could just be myself. Today I wear my name as a badge of honor. When people ask me my name, I say it proudly. It feels like winning the first place trophy. I still get asked all the time, "Are you Carl's son?" and a big smile comes over my face as I enthusiastically say yes. I love my name so much, I even plan on naming my son it too. So this is just a really nice example of taking an issue and working the reader through it so that, just like Carl, I went through, oh, your dad's pretty strict, I can't seem to figure out who I am that's different from my dad, I feel frustrated, and then I have this final story. And again, what I want to notice is he really takes his time to tell the story. And I think that when we do that, just like with Amber, our writing is better for it. So my hope is that as you're revising your analysis paper, you give yourself the luxury of time to really explain things thoroughly, put the reader in the story with you, and write writing that's wonderful. So I can't wait to see what you produce. And that's it. Have a good week.